welcome into DomTime, everyone. Tonight, talking about, among other things, Holocaust deniers, the need to teach the Holocaust in schools, and shockingly, the fact that Pennsylvania hasn't done that. Now, if they wanted to do that and make it a more extended course, I have an excellent book for them, Spoonful of Sugar Makes the Medicine Go Down. It's a novel, and it is a great read, and our guest, Rhonda Fink Whitman, has put together the book 94 Maidens. The inspiration for this is hearing your mother, I guess, over the course of her, she was about 6.5, I think you said, when she was liberated.
Yes, that is correct.
So she didn't have a whole lot of information, possibly, that she could give you other than over the course of life remembering it.
Yeah.
How did you piece this together and write a novel based on this?
Well, yeah, my mother's memories were spotty childhood memories,
Right.
but I don't want to give too much away, but there are other survivors, and you'll learn who they are in the book, who fleshed out the rest of the story for me, and then whatever pieces we still needed to find, and this is part of the book, it's documented in the book, I took my husband and my son, and we went to Europe. We hit 7 concentration camps in 13 days. It was the most painful thing I've ever done in my life. And we discovered, we gained access to sealed Nazi documents. There's a place called the ITS, buried deep in the heart of Germany, shrouded in mystery. Even our German guide didn't even know how to get us there. And I had an appointment. But nobody could get in. In fact, I called the United States Holocaust Museum in Washington, D.C., who, by the way, is now selling my book in their museum shop because, you know, that's a big old stamp of validation there. And I said, I'm going to go. You know, I tried to contact these people. I haven't received an answer. It's been a year. And they said, well, it's because they're so backlogged with 400,000 requests of, survivors wanting to know about their families. And their records have been sealed for over 60 years, and the Germans are the gatekeepers. And I said, so I'm 400,001? And they said, basically. And I said, well, I'm going to go. I'm just going to knock on the door and say, hi, I'm here. What do you got on my family? And they said, don't do it. They're going to slam the door in your face. They said, researchers don't get in, reporters don't get in, archivists don't get in, survivors don't get past the front lobby. But I got in. How I got in is in the book. And once we were there, we were able to put all the pieces of the puzzle together. And so what the book does is I write the way I like to read, which is short chapters. Pick it up, put it down at any time.
Okay.
I don't, bog my readers down with too many adjectives and too much description. I keep the story moving. My readers tell me they love that about the book. And so in one chapter, you're in present day with me, my husband, and my son as we're standing on the train tracks in Auschwitz and finding out what happened to family members there. And I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional.
Yeah.
And then the next chapter flings you back in time like a flashback. And now you're in 1944 in Poland, standing on those train tracks, and you get to see it unfold for yourself. So people tell me they love that about the book. And I'm getting really great 5-star reviews on Amazon and Goodreads. And
so
I'm
it's
really
available
grateful.
all over the place.
Oh yeah, Amazon, barnesandnoble.com, my website, 94maidens.com, and I think there's still a few signed copies left at the Doylestown Bookshop, so grab one
very
there.
good. Well, and with 94 Maidens, this takes these numbers that are mind-boggling,
Yeah.
6 million, 5 million of the others, brings it down to a human story, and I think we saw that the first miniseries with Roots. It took the story of slavery and it broke it down to that level. This does the same thing with the Holocaust.
Yeah.
And when you
Puts
when
a
you read
face
this,
on it.
Yeah, puts a human face on it. When you see the humanity of this and then the emotionality of connecting with it, even here sitting in front of me,
Yeah.
and you've actually been to the concentration camps.
Yeah.
Just talk to viewers a little bit about how remarkable it is that we still, I know I don't want to see this be made a crime, but I know in European countries it is a crime to be a Holocaust denier.
Yes, in Germany. You
Yeah.
can't name your child Adolf. It's against the law, but we had some
Right.
schmo do it here,
Yeah,
right?
exactly, yeah.
The Germans really take it seriously. When I was over there in Germany, they own up to it. They know what they did. They take full responsibility. They have left buildings, churches, where the Allies bombed it, and maybe there's a gargoyle half hanging off the church. They left it like that on purpose, because as a reminder to never be fascist again. There are memorials all over Germany. All of the concentration camps are now museums. If you get a chance to go one day,
Or the
You
U.S.,
must.
I recommend the U.S. Holocaust Museum.
Oh.
It's wonderfully done in Washington. All right, well, you have a caller for you, Rhonda.
Absolutely.
Let's go to David in Levittown. Hey, David, welcome to DomTime. You're with Rhonda Fink-Whitman. Go right ahead.
Thank you. We were talking about how this worked. I was there. I'm a Holocaust survivor.
I know David.
A couple months ago, I went there, talked to the senator, the congressman, and the only objection was that they wanted to have it mandatory. And I told them, why not? Well, they gave me all the different kind of stories. The vote was 91 to 91 through the Congress. It didn't pass. Now, I'm a Holocaust survivor, and I go and lecture in all the schools, universities, any place.
Right.
I spoke this from last September to today, over 10,000 students.
Wow. Well,
Yeah,
nice work by you. And David, it's amazing, isn't it? But the further we get away from the events, the more these Holocaust denier creeps come out of the woodwork. And this guy at Lincoln, I want viewers to know tonight, imagine a guy, a journalism professor. We're paying this guy, and this guy is not only an enemy of Israel, but he's a Holocaust denier. His name is Professor Sadiq. And David, the witness that you give to these students, what do they ask you? What do they say when you speak to these student groups?
Well, they just listen to me. And when I talk to them, they listen. Mm-hmm. I'm the survivor. I lived through it. I went 5.5 years, spent in concentration camps. I know what happened.
David, I'm very glad you called in tonight. And Rhonda, again, when you're there with these guys, he's talking about in Harrisburg now, not the
Yes.
U.S. Congress, and it's a 91 to 91 tie just over the silliness of this mandate thing. There's nobody, and I know this is something you won't let rest and we won't let rest. No. We're coming up on the 20th anniversary of New Jersey, right next door, having the wisdom to do this. And somehow or another, New Jersey can do it, Pennsylvania balking at it. I would challenge any viewer to call in tonight and make a case with a book like this, a story like this, and just that the average person has to know about the enormity of this. Why in the world would we not mandate that kids know about this because of the usefulness of it? And sadly, because we're not going to have the Davids of the world with us forever. A lot of these people in their 80s and 90s.
The clock is ticking. I've heard it described as 1 minute to midnight. Dave is part of a group of 20 survivors. I'm partnered with the Holocaust Awareness Museum and Education Center of Philadelphia.
Right.
And he's one of 20 survivors, and in this last school year alone, we've taken those 20 survivors to over 250 programs and reached 35,000 students. Now, kudos to them. This is the last generation, right?
Right.
Most people are visual learners. If you read a paragraph in a history book, okay, you might remember. If you meet Dave, his name is Dave Tuck.
Right.
And he's a little 80-year-old man who survived Auschwitz for 5 years.
When you see
when he rolls up his sleeve and he shows you his tattoo,
well,
those kids, that's going to have an impact. Those kids are going to remember that, and they're going to teach it to their kids.
Well, apparently, though, people in the House, too, because when I went round around with them, they think Professor Sadiq has a right to sit there tonight, be paid by my tax dollars, your tax dollars, and everybody watching, and putting this in his face, this Holocaust denier, has academic freedom to be insane and to deny that this ever happened.
And let me ask you this. What other genocides get denied besides the Holocaust? Is anybody denying Darfur? Is anybody denying Rwanda?
I'll give you another one.
Armenian
I'll give you
genocide?
another one coming up.
What's at the base of that? What's at the root of denying the Holocaust?
More with Rhonda coming up here and her book, and we'll take your calls. You can jump in right now here on DomTime.